Today we're learning Bobekama Daf Chovches. Says the Gemara. Toshma, 4 lines down. Chovches Amud Aleph. So we had the discussion, we had the machloikes about Ovid Inish Dinah Nafshei or Loi Ovid Inish Nafshei, meaning can a person do his own din as if he's a bezdin? So we said that if he's going to lose by going to bezdin, he's going to lose because now, in a case, let's say that if he doesn't go now, he's going to lose something, and by going to bezdin, he'll get less or he won't get anything. So everyone's asking that a person could do his own din. The question is, in a place where he could go to bezdin, does he have to go to bezdin? Or he says, no, I know what the din is, I'm doing it. So we had the machloikis about that. And was on Kof Zayin Amud Beis. We had the machloikis. Who was there again? It was Rav Yehuda said, Lo Ovid Dinah Nefshei, and Nachman says, Ovid Dinah Nefshei. Said the Gemara Toshma, let's bring rayas to this machloikis. Shorish Olo al Gabi Chaveroi, Lo Orgoi, Ubal Baal Tachtoim V'Shomat Esheloi, V'Nofal Elyon Umeis Poto. My love b'muot, the lekeb seida. Loi, betam de ikeb seida. Hiochi ema seifa dochfoi le'elyon umeis chayev. V'i betam amai chayev. Sho'el yishomtoi v'lo yishomtoi. So we're going to explain outside and then we're going to see it inside again. So the Gemara says the following. It said in the Brisa that a cow of ox of one person went on another cow or another ox to kill him, and the owner of the bottom one saw his ox is going to get killed, and he pulled his ox out from underneath the one on top. So the one on top fell on the ground, boom krach, and he died. He says he's potter from the killing of the one on top because he saved his own. So the Gemara l'chora, it's talking about a tam, that the one on top was a tam, and a tam, he pays only half the nezek, and he only pays how much he's worth, no more than that. So l'chora, by him saving the Gemara says, l'chora, it's talking about that the one on top was a mod, that whatever happens, even if you'd kill the one underneath, you'd have to pay the full amount, and even if his ox is not worth the value, he'd have to pay from his pocket. And we could still see the one is potter, the one who caused him to die. Why? Because Ovid Dinah Nefshei, afilu b'mokum delekeb seita. So we have a raya to the shitta who holds Ovid Dinah Nefshei. So the Gemara, no, it's talking about by tam. It's talking about the one that went on top was a tam. So if I won't save my ox from underneath, I will lose because I only get paid half and only how much the value of the mazik is. And if it's not the half of the value, you won't even pay half. So that's why, in that case, everyone's masking Ovid Inish Dinah Nafshei. So the Gemara, if that's the case, are we talking about l'chora? It says in the Sefer that if instead of pulling his ox from underneath, he pushes the one on top off the one underneath and he kills him, so he's chayev. And if you want to tell me it's talking about by tam, the one on top is a tam, and I'm going to lose by him killing my ox that's underneath, l'chora, I'm allowed to do it. I'm allowed to push him off to Ovid Dinah Nefshei, Mokum Seida, everyone's masking. So the Gemara, no, he could have pulled his one out and not physically push off the one on top, and by that killing the one on top he'll die. He could have saved his own cow, and whatever happens to the one on top is something else. Since he didn't do that, he could, so therefore he's chayev. That means Ovid Dinah Nefshei doesn't mean you could do whatever you want. It means you could, in the best circumstance, you have to do the best thing to save your money. But you can't go and start being mazik the other person b'yodayim in a case where you have a better solution. Let's see that inside. Toshma, shorish olo al gabi chaver lo orgoi, ubo baal tachtoim, came the owner of the bottom ox, v'shomat esheloi, and pulled his one out, v'nofal elyon umeis, the one on top fell on the ground and died. Potter, my love, we're not talking about b'mud. The lekeb pseida, if the top one would kill the bottom one, there's no pseida because they'd have to pay the full amount. So the Gemara loy betam, the ikeb pseida. So the one on top is a tam, and therefore if he kills my ox, I'll only get half my value. And there everyone's asking the Ovid Dinish Lenafshei. So the Gemara, Yochi, Ema Sefer, let's see in the Sefer, if we're talking about Tam Dochfa Le'elyon, if not, he didn't pull the one underneath his ox out, he pushed the one on top off. Umeis, and he killed him, Chayev, Vibetam Amai Chayev. If we're talking about a Tam, why should be Chayev? Everyone's asking, Ovid Inish and Avshe, I could do my own I could do my own din. When there's Pseida, and here there's Pseida, if he kills my ox, I'll only get paid half. So the Gemara, he could have pulled him out, his one out, he didn't have to push one on top off. And therefore, in such a case, everyone's asking, they can't just do whatever you want if you have a better solution. Toshma, Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak mishabe v'yitze lebezdin mishabe v'nichnas lo'ovi zchuyosov. So it says someone put in tons of barrels and of wine and oil in Reuven put in Shimon's garden. It says that Shimon could just break out the barrels to go out, break out the barrels to go in. So l'chora, it's a kasha. You could see that Obedin is Shay. And there's no pseid over here, Bishlemet, to go in, to go out. Okay, I need to go out. I can't go to Bezdin, but why are you allowed to break to go in? Elamai, we could see, go to Bezdin first. Elamai, we could see that Obedin is Shay. Even welcome the Lekeb Seder. And that the Gemara answers, no. You know why? He could break to go out. Okay, we understand that. And also to break to go he breaks to go out to go to Bezdin. And it breaks to come back in. Let's say Bezdin, this guy goes to Bezdin and says, Reuven put all these barrels in my field. So they bring Reuven. Reuven says, yeah, this is my garden. So Shimon is allowed to break the kelim back to go in, to go get his documents to prove. So it's, in such a case he's allowed, but if he could go to Bezdin and there's no reason to break, he's not allowed to break them. Let's see that inside. Toshma Memale, Reuven was Memale, filled up Chotze Chavero, the garden of his friend, of his Chotze, Kade Yain, barrels of wine, and Kade Shemen of oil. Baal HaChotze, the owner of the Chotze, Shimon, Mishabe v'yoytze, could break them and go out. Mishabe v'nichnas, you could break the barrels and go out, and come back in. L'chor, it's a kasher mandomo holds, lo yovi dinish din avshei. Amar Rav Nachman Yitzchok, Mishabe v'yoytze leBezdin, to go out to Bezdin, he's allowed to break them out, and therefore he's going to Bezdin. That's the way he's getting to Bezdin. And why is he allowed to break them to go in? Mishabe v'nichnas, to break and go into his house, Lavis Chiyosef, to bring his documents to prove to Bezdin that his chotze belongs to him. Toshma minayin lenirtze shekolu lo yomov, v'raboi misabroi lotzes, v'chov al vaso b'chavro shel potter. Talmud loima lo tikhu koif al ashov, lo tikhu koif al ashov, lo tikhu koif al ashuv, lo yisukhu koif al ashov. Lochim askinan be'av de ganva. Ad aidna lo ganav ash de ganav, ad neidna ve'im ose de rabbi alei, ash de leslei im ose de rabbi olei. So the Gemara asks such a question. It says in the Braisa that there is a din of a Evet. He's the Evet for 6 years until Shemitah, and then if he wants to stay, you take his ear and you put it by the mezuzah and you make a hole in it, and he stays until the Yovel. It's called the Nirtza. So this Nirtza, he's there for until the Yovel. The Yovel comes and he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to leave. And his master wants him to leave, so he pushes him to leave, and he even punches him and causes him damage to go leave my house. And he causes him damage, and it says in the price that he's potter. L'chora, why should he be potter? He should go to Bezdin. Elamai, we could see Ovedin Ishtin, and a person could do his own din. Says the Gemara, no. It's talking about that there is loss that this Eved is by me because he's stealing. He's stealing from me. Said the Gemara, what do you mean he's stealing from you? Why was he not stealing? Why only when Yovel came, now suddenly you have this problem? Why didn't he go years ago to Bezdin because he's a Ganev and kick him out? Said the Gemara, yeah. Until now he didn't have a master. He had a master, he was scared. Now that he knows he's free, he's not scared anymore from his master, and therefore he's stealing. And I forgot to mention that the Gemara learns it from the Pasuk that says, and that's talking about that someone who kills someone who kills someone who goes to Ar Miklot, you can't take money from him instead of going to Ar Miklot. And we darshan lo yisikhu koifel hashov. Someone who doesn't want to, if you want Shat in Rashi, someone who doesn't want to go back to his family, you don't take money if you damage him. Okay, let's see this Gemara inside. Toshma minayin linirtish kol yom, of someone who got his ear, a hole in his ear, and he's meant to be a eved until Yovel, shekol yomov, Yovel came, v'rabbi misaraboi lotzes, and his master tell him, go home, go to your family. And he's not listening, v'choval, and he hit him, v'oso b'chavora, and he made damage, shul potter. Talmud loima, we learn this from the Apostle, lo yisikhu koifa l'shuv. You shouldn't take koifa to let someone off or a miklot. And we darshan lo yitikhu koifa l'shuv. Don't take koifa if someone damages someone who doesn't want him to go back to his family. He doesn't have to pay. So you could see why don't you go to Bezdin? So the Gemara Chamaskinan be'avdegan. But if Eved is stealing, so there is hefsed, and when there's hefsed, everyone's masking the Ovidina Nafshay. Fragt the Gemara Ada Idna Loy Ganav. Until now he didn't steal Vash the Ganav. And suddenly he's a Ganav, L'chor should gone to Bezdin a long time ago to get rid of him. So the Gemara, until now he was a master, he had a master, he was scared to steal. Ashter Leslie Mosa de Rabbi is not scared to steal. Rav Nachman Yitzchak Omar, he said another teretz, what's pshat in this brayso? Be'eved shemosoi lo rabbi shivcha knanis. It's talking about the Eved is allowed to marry a shivcha knanis, a non-Jewish shivcha. And once he's a free man, when Yovel comes, he's not really allowed to be with her, because now he's a normal Jewish person who's not allowed to be with a Shivcha Knanis. So the reason why he's trying to get rid of him is not because he doesn't want him to be a slave, he's trying to get him rid of this, they shouldn't be any more of the Shivcha Knanis. And now it's not anything to do with him, it's not because of me, it's because of Hashem, that Hashem says you're not allowed to be with a Shivcha Knanis, so it's not anymore Dina Din Avshay, he's saving him from Avera. Be'eved shemosar rabbi shivcha knanis ad deidna de'eter, until now that he's an eved, he's allowed to be with her. V'ashti yisur, now it's Esa, and the master is trying to save him from Esa. It's nothing to do with dine momenis. Toshma said in the Bryce, let's bring another ayah. Amaniach esakad b'rshus rabim ubo acher b'nit kalbo v'shobro poto tama b'nit kalbo hoshobro chayev. So we said in the Mishnah and the Bryce as well that Aminech Zakad B'Rishus Rabim, someone put his barrel in the Rishus Rabim, and someone else came and tripped over it, and he broke the barrel. His potter. So we medayek Tama the nitkal. The only reason why he's potter because he tripped over it, hoshavra, or he broke it is chayiv. And Rav before said that's talking about where he filled the whole Rishus Rabim with barrels. The chura obedinish din and nefshei b'mokum seder that I have to go around the block that takes me an extra 5 minutes, and I should be allowed to break it. And it's a kasha on everyone. We said that everyone's masking b'mokum seder that you're allowed to do. Here you can see b'mokum seder you're not allowed to go and break it. Cash on everyone, how Rashi explains, Omar Rav Zvid Mishmei Derova, says Rav Zvid Mishmei Derova Teretz, Hu adin afidu shopper, really you're allowed to break it and to go past. The reason why it says I tripped and doesn't say that I broke it, I did the Kaboyle Misna Seifa, since we want to say in the Seifa of the Mishnah, Himuzak Bal Chovis Chayev, if when he broke it, he got injured. If when he tripped, he also got injured, the Balachovis, the owner of the barrel, has to pay the Dafko Nitkal, especially that he tripped over. But Abel Shovar, but if he broke it, the owner of the barrel won't have to pay. Why? When you broke it, you had to be careful not to get injured. You got injured when you broke it. The Balachovis is potter. Therefore, Ktoni Reisha Nitkal, that's why in the Reisha also says Nitkal, because the Mishnah wants to tell you the Chiddush and the Seifa. And the Chiddush and the Seifa could only be when you tripped over. That's why the whole Mishnah said tripped over, but really, Enochinami, in the Reisha, you could even break it. And we saw this teretz early on Daf Chav Zayin Amud Beis, about regarding something else. Toshma Bekatzoises Kapo Momoy. It says that a lady, two people had a fight, and a woman grabbed the private parts of one of them to stop him hitting her husband, so she has to pay money, boishes and damage that she caused. So my love, we're not talking about that's the only way that she could save her husband from the punch that's coming his direction. And therefore we could see lo yovid dinish and nafshei, and she still has to pay. So the Gemara, no, it's talking about she could save her husband by something else that's without causing boishes to this person. Frag the Gemara, so you're telling me if she really can't do anything else, and this is the only way that she could save the punch from her husband, she will be potter. If so, add it on a sefer until we write in the sefer this brisa, that she sent a hand, it says, Prat l'shliach bezdin, if the shliach bezdin's over there, the one who's in charge from bezdin, and he sees a fight, and he's trying to start a fight because that's his job, his potter, we should say a difference in herself, instead of saying a difference between the man, the woman who did it, and the shliach bezdin, we could say a difference in the woman, depends on what circumstances she did this. When are we saying that she's chayev to pay when she could stop this fight, or she could save her husband from the punch without causing this boishes? But if she can't save the punch or the damage to her husband by doing something else, the only way she could do it is by grabbing this person's private parts, then she's potter, and then it's a much bigger chiddush that even sometimes she's potter. You don't have to come to a shliach bezdin that's potter. So the Gemara ochenami koma. Yeah, that's pshat in the brisa. We add on a little. When she could stop this fight with a different way. But if she can't stop this fight by anything else, only by grabbing his private parts, nases yoda, her hand is as if kishliach bezdin, as if she's there from bezdin to stop this fight, because this is the only way to stop the fight. She's allowed to do it, uptur, and she's potter. Another ayah, Toshma Reisha Yitzadech Rabbi Moiveres B'Toich Sadeu. Someone had a field, and in the middle of the field there was a right of way. There's a way for the public to go into the private field to cross. Not law. Now he blocked that way. And he gave them a different right of way at the side of his field. Masha nosa nosa, and the new right of way is given to the rabbin. Vesheloi, and what he's tried taking for himself in the middle, loi gioi, it still belongs to the rabbin. So now the rabbin have two ways to pass in middle of the field, on the side of the field. And if you said if a person could make his own judgment, his own din, so he gave them a new path, he should stop them, he should take a big stick, stand on the old way and say, anyone who comes in here, I bash him, this is mine, because you got a new way now to go. Why do we say that both ways become to the rabbin? Omar Rav Zid Mishmei Derova, says Rav Zid Mishmei Derova, Teretz, Gzera, Shema Itilim Derech HaKaltin. You know why we don't give him back the middle way? Is because maybe the one he gave them at the side, if he could do it in his own judge, he could judge himself and give them a new way, he'll give them a bad way. The way they used to have was nice and paved, and now he's going to give them some way with lots of rocks and hard to go, or not straight direct way, a much longer way. And therefore we say that he can't keep the way that they used to use. Or Mesharshia says a different reason. It's not talking about that maybe he'll give them a bad way. It's talking about where the new way he gave them was a bad way. It was a longer way. So therefore the old way stays to the rabbin. Any path at the side of the field is a longer way. Why? It might be closer to the people who live at the side where he made the new path. But it's further away for the people who live at the other side of the field who want to go across, because for them they have to go all the way to the end of the field. So it's always, whatever side of the field you're going to give it, it's a longer way for some people, and therefore you can't take back the middle way. Frag the Gemara, Yochi, now we're going to be Goris like Toisvis, the middle little Toisvis. Yochi, Masha Nosan, Amai Loi Gioi, Masha Nosan, Amai. Why did we say that what he gave to them doesn't stay his, it becomes also the rabbim's? If he gave them a bad way, or at the side is always a bad way, or Gzera, he might give them a bad way, so it's not good way. So he should keep the new way that he gave them. That should still be his, that they're not allowed to go in, and they should be allowed to still go in the middle way. But why that part, the one that he gave them, becomes theirs, of the rabbim? Leimele, should tell them, Shuklu Dudeichu, keep the old way they used to go in, and let me have back my one at the side. Said the Gemara, Mishum de Rav Yehuda. No, the reason why that doesn't become back his, the new way he gave them, is because of Rav Yehuda. The Omar Rav Yehuda, Meitza Shechziko Barabim, Osele Kalkaloi. Any way that the rabbim have a chazok on it, that they're allowed to use it, even that it's private property in the land registry, you're allowed to. Once the public uses it, you can't take it back. So here he gave them a new way on the side, and the people started using it, of course. So Mimele, you can't take it back. That's it, too late. And the middle way, you can't take it back, like we said, because we choishish, maybe he'll give them a bad way, or every way at the side is a bad way, or maybe he gave them a bad way, whatever the reason is. Said the Gemara, another raya, Toshma Balabai Sheniach Peor Mitzad Echod. There's the mitzvah to give pear to the aniyim. Pear means a corner, like payas is also a corner. It's a corner of the head. So pear of the field is a corner of the field, and we know every morning we say, El Dvarim She'en Leim Shir pear. You could give a tiny little corner, you could give a massive corner. So someone prepared a corner for the aniyim to take. Balabai Sheniach Peor Mitzad Echod, in one corner. Bo aniyim v'notlu Mitzad Echod. And came the aniyim and started taking it from another corner of the field, the pear, and he didn't stop them. He was masking to give it to them. There was a pear, both of them, a pear, the new where the aniyim took from, and also where he intended to give the aniyim. V'yo marat, and if you say ovid dinish din nafshei, a person could make his own din. Amai there was a pear. Why both of them pear? Linkot parzra v'leis. If you should sit on the first corner that he designated for the aniyim with a stick and sit there and say, aniyim, you can't take over here, I gave you a different way. Ovid dinish din nafshei. Omarova, maize v'ze peyo lepurgeon v'namaisa. When we said this is this peyo, it doesn't mean really that the aniyim could take both. Really, the new place where the aniyim could take, that's peyo. And the old place where the aniyim, where he designated it for the aniyim, he really could sit there with a stick and stop them coming in, and it's not peyo. And that's how we said that this is the peyo. It means to pater for maisa. Why? Because there is a din that hefka is potter for matnas aniyim. You don't have to give all the matnas aniyim to that means all the matnas aniyim that you give, trumas, maestras, oilelois, leket, shikho, all these things is dafka when it's your own land. But if it's hefka, you don't have to give it to aniyim. So that's why we said that they both pair. It just means that even the way he designated it, and now he's sitting there with a stick and not letting them in, that's also potem for Maisa. Why? Because he designated it, it became type of hefka. And then when they started taking from the other side, and he was zoicha again in the first place where he gave their name, so now it was hefka for a minute, and therefore it's potem from Maisa. Kedetanya, like we learned in the Brisa, a mafkir karmoi, someone who did hefka, he let the public into his vineyard where his grapes grow. And then he woke up in the morning, and he was zoicha in the field again, and he took off all the grapes. So the chayra was his. Then he was mafkir for a few moments, or for the night, and then he was zoicha it again, so it was hefka for a bit. So the din is chayev beperet uva oidelois uva shikho upeah. He's chayev to give, even though that was hefka for a bit, he was chayev for all these matnas anim, a peret, oidelois, shikho upeah. But upatum in a maisa, from the maisa is potter, meaning when you do it's type of a trick and you do hefka for a few minutes or for the night, so it patters you from maisa. But the other matnas anim, it doesn't patter you from, even though that the other matnas anim in a hefka, when they hefka your potter, But it says over there, Rashi explains that it says only one, doesn't say extra tazoiv. By the other matnas anim of peret, it says twice extra tazoiv. So it comes to tell you that you need to proper be hefka. But if you did a type of a tricky hefka only for a few hours, that's not enough of hefka to pati you. But by my side, I don't say this extra tazoiv. So even if it's a bit hefka, just for a few hours, or like in our case, they designated it for peah and it's type of hefka, now it's part of a maisa. So when it's in the brisa, there was a peah, it means that they're both part of a maisa. But enochinami, the first area they designated it belongs to Balabais. Okay, let's see the Mishnah. The Mishnah, Chof Ches Amud Aleph, the bottom Mishnah. Nishbura Kadi Rishus Rabim. His barrel broke in Rishus Rabim. If v'uchlak echad b'mayim, and someone slipped on the water, or shelaka b'charaseh, or he got hit from the pieces of the barrel, the din is chayev. The owner of the barrel, l'charetz bar Rishus Rabim, he's chayev for the nezakim. Rabbi Yehuda Oima b'miskaven chayev, be'eino miskaven potter. Rabbi Yehuda says depends. If he was miskaven to, we don't know exactly what that means, then he's chayev. If he wasn't miskaven, if he did it to no purpose, he's potter. And we're going to see, and the Gemara is going to explain exactly what does this miskaven mean. Omar Rabbi Yehuda Omar Rav. Says Rav Yehuda Shem Rav Lo Shonu. When did we say that someone slipped on the water? He is the barrel, the owner of the barrel is chayev, elo shetin for kelo b'mayim. When the water damaged his cloak, and he needs to send it to dry cleaning, then you say that you chayev for the damage he caused, or he got dirty his kelim. Aval hu atzmoi. But if a person slipped and smashed his head on the ground, potter. Why? Karka oilo mizikosoi, the ground that belongs to everyone that was mazikim, not the water. The water was maybe a groma that he slipped, but what caused the damage? His head banging into the ground, and that belongs to no one. Kamrisa kamei de Shmuel, so Rav Yehuda says, when I said this in front of Shmuel, Omar li, he told me, Mechti, let's see, Avnoi v'sakino masoi, someone's knife. Avnoi is a rock. The sakino and his knife, umasoi and his backpack, or his, something that he carries. And they put in Rishus Rabim and he was mazik. Mibara lemadnu. We learn it. Why is it chayev if it causes damage? We learn it. It's like bar, v'kulon, and all of these things of Avnoi, sakino, umasoi. What's the din? And in Kurban we darshan shor v'loy odom. That it says in the pasuk of Bor Shor that Yichai for Shor v'loy Odom, in the pasuk where Shor dies, when an ox dies in a Bor and you have to pay, it says Shor, and we darshan that for Odom, if a person falls into a Bor and dies, you potter. Chamor, it says Chamor, and we darshan dafka a donkey, v'loy kelim, and not the kelim on the donkey. Then and this is only talking about in Ktola. When the person died, that fell inside the potter. Avalin in Nezokim, if the person got damaged, he only broke his leg in the bar, Adam chayev, Adam will be chayev. Kelim pturim, and kelim will still be potter, because kelim is always dead. Because meaning whenever keli breaks, it's like he died. There's no nezek and dying by keli. So the So we're saying, Avnei Sakino Masoi, the whole reason why you chayev if they're mazik is because it's like bur, and bur is potter from kelim. So how can you tell me that the Mishnah is talking about that the water damages cloak, and within bur is potter for kelim, is potter for the cloak. So how can you be chayev for that? So Shmuel asked Rav Yehuda, who said this din b'shem Rav. So said the Gemara, how will Rav understand this? L'chor have a bomba kash on Rav. If we say it's midin bor is potter for kelim, so why you chai for the water damaging? So the Gemara of Rav, animally, when do we say that your rock or knife or masoi, your backpack is like bor Echad Afgarinu, when he put it in Rishus Rabim and he said, this is Hefka, so now it's like Bur. Aval Echad Afgarinu, if I still want to keep the knife or the rock or the backpack, Mamoinahu, it's my mom and it's like my cow. And if my cow is mazik, I'm chayav also for kelim. So also here in the Mishnah, where the water damage, it's somehow where he wasn't mafker it. And if he's not mafker, it's like mamoina, it's like my cow that caused damage. And therefore you also chayav for kelim when the cloak got wet and I need to send it to dry cleaning. Masiv every oishia, frekta oishia kasha, v'nofal shoma. It said in the pasuk that in the buri fell, shor, a ox, oy chamor a donkey, and we darshan, shor v'loy adam. A shor yichayev when a shor falls in, and off when a man falls in. Chamor when it says a donkey, v'loy kelim, and off the kelim. Noif is something that's on top of it. Mikan Amru, from here we learn, Nofal etoichoi shor v'kelov, if an ox together with his load fell inside, v'nishtabru, and the kelim broke, Chamor v'kelov v'niskaru, Chamor with his load and they got torn, Chayev ala be'ema, you chayev to pay for the be'ema, for the Chamor and for the shor, upot ala kelim. And you potter for the kelim, for the load on top, because there's a special gzerasakosa that you potter for kelim in bur. Holem ada doima, why is this? Doima to why is this? Similar to le'avnoi v'sakinoi masoi, to his rock and his knife and his backpack, shinicham b'rishus harabim, they put them in rishus harabim ve'ziku, and they cause damage. So now straight away the Gemara doesn't make a sense, because the makar for bur in the Torah is bur. So it doesn't make sense to say that a bur is similar to your knife that you put in your Rishus Harabim. It's the opposite. You should say the knife is similar to a bur. So that's the question straight away the Gemara asks. Adarabba, doesn't make sense. The opposite. Ma doime lezemi boyele. You should say, what's similar to a bur? I have another similar case to a bur. Your knife is also similar to a bur. So the Gemara, elo mai doime leze. Read the brisa differently. What's similar to not like what we said, what is bur like? We're saying what's like a bur. What's similar to a bur? Your rock and your knife and your load, they put them in Rishus Harabim and they cause damage. That's doime to a bur. Lefichoch. So l'chara, 1 second. L'chara, this is the kasha on Rav. Rav said that your knife, if you're not mafker it, it's mamoino, it's not boroi. Here it says that it's doime to bor. It keeps on the brisa and says, Lefikoch, therefore, if someone damaged his bottle or his keli on a stone, on this stone in Rishus Harabim, Yechayev. And we're going to see soon that doesn't make sense, because we said it's bur and we said bur is potter for kelim, but we'll see in a second. But l'chara, this is a kasha on Shmuel, because Shmuel said that bur b'rishus keli b'rishus harabim, that's a bur, you potter from kelim. Said the Gemara, Reisha kasha l'Rav. The Reisha that says that your load is doime to a bur is kasha l'Rav. He said it's mamoinoi. It's like your money. It's like your ox. The Sefer Kasha Shmuel that says that Yechayev on Kelim. Says the Gemara. 1 second. Okay, forget about Rav Shmuel a second. Before we go into Rav Shmuel, Tikshele lo chigufa. The brisa itself makes no sense. Reisha potter v'Sefer Chayev. In the Reisha it says that your potter, because you bur is potter and kelim. The Sefer it says that when you tzloichiso you broke on the stone, chayev. It doesn't make sense. It's chayev for kelim. Decide, or you chayev for kelim, or you potter for kelim. Elo Rav mitar zetame. Rav will explain the brisa like he learns. V'Shmuel mitar zetame, and Shmuel will explain like he learns. Rav mitar zetame. Rav will learn like he learns. B'medvar mamurim. The brisa says when is your knife and your load and your stone in Rishus Harabim like a bur keshifkira? When you're mafker it, then it's a bur avaloifkira, and if it's still yours, you didn't make a hefka chayev. Then it's like your momon, and your momon who is mazik chayev also for kelim. Lefikach, therefore, itich tlchoso be'eben, if you damaged your keli on this rock in Rosh Hashanah, that's not hefka, so it's like mamoinoi chayev. And therefore you chayev even on kelim, on the tzloiches, because he's not mafker it. And Shmuel will answer like he learns, now that he said that your rock and your knife and your load in Rosh Hashanah, B'lefi Shmuel, doesn't matter if you're mafker, doesn't matter if you're not mafker, it's like bor, Rabbi Yehuda, Lefi Shitas Rabbi Yehuda, the Mechayev al Niski Kelim bebor, who doesn't have the drasha of Chamor Veloy Kelim, and he holds that bor is Chayev Kelim, Lefikach, therefore, in a case of Itich Tzluchusu Ba'even, if he hit his bottle on this rock that's a bor, Chayev Lefi Rabbi Yehuda, because Rabbi Yehuda is Mechayev Kelim bebor. Very good. Amar Rabbi Lozo, says Rabbi Lozo, lo yishanu, elo shenitkal be'even v'nishoif be'even. Avon nitkal b'karka v'nishoif be'even, potter. Meaning, lo yishanu, this is how we said just before, in the Braisa, that if he bashed his bottle on this rock and Rosh Hashanah that someone put it, that's talking about where he tripped on the stone, and the bottle broke on the stone. That both happened because of this burn in Shusarabim. But nitkal bakarka, but if he tripped, nothing to do with this rock in Shusarabim that Reuven put there, he tripped on the floor, on the ground. V'nishoit be'efen, but then this bottle of his, when he fell on this rock that someone put in Shusarabim. Potter, his potter. Why? Because the tripping never happened because of the rock. The tripping happened because of Rosh Hashanah. Said the Gemara command, who is this going? They're like Reb Nosson. It's not like Reb Nosson. So we have to see Rashi over here. What does that mean? Who's this Reb Nosson? They're like Reb Nosson. The Amalek Amon, he says later on in Dafnim Gimel, B'shorish dochaf es chaber laboru, when a shori pushed another ox into a burr of someone else. So we say that Rav Nosson says that he could claim from whoever he wants, because the person, let's say the shori puts the other shori as a tam, he only has to pay chetzi nezek, so the other chetzi nezek he takes from the bor, meaning if two people cause damage, and I can't claim from one of them, for whatever reason it is, I can claim everything from the other person. So in this case, right, I tripped because of Rosh Hashanah, nothing to do with your rock, but my glass bottle broke from your rock, so I could, Lefri Rav Nosson, I should be able to claim the nezek from the Bala rock. And here we say, Rabbi Loza says, that's not so. Only if he tripped on the rock and broke the bottle on the rock, Yechayev. So we can see that's not Rav Nosson. Said the Gemara, Ikedarmi, some people say the opposite. Omar Rabbi Loza, Loitema, don't say that this is talking about the case of breaking the bottle, Benitkal be'even, Benishok be'even, especially where he tripped on the rock and broke the glass on the rock. That's when you chayev. Avon nitkal bakarka, but if you tripped on the ground, v'nishoy be'even, and your glass bottle broke on the rock, potter, don't tell me that. Elo, afilu nitkal bakarka, even if he fell on the ground, v'nishoy be'even, and his bottle broke on the rock, chayev, even though he's chayev, even though the tripping up happened, nothing to do with the stone. So the Gemara, Keman Rav Nosson, that is going like Rav Nosson, who says, well, two people cause the ezek, and I can't claim from one of them. In this case, from Rosh Hashanah, you can't claim because it belongs to no one. I can claim the whole nezek from the other person, the Bala, the one who put the rock in Rosh Hashanah. I'm going to stop here because the next Gemara is a sugya already of Chof Tes.